Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Awaken October Challenge. This is week 3, Saturday, October 20th. It is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And a very hearty Saturday morning to all of you this morning. So here we are, 2/3 of the way through our month of making our primary goal, seeking first that kingdom within. And to help with this goal, we have engaged in various types of meditative practices, various discussions, various daily reminders, daily tasks, daily points of awareness to focus on. And yeah, and good morning to you too, sweetie. You know, it's kind of funny because for Kelly and I, our big sleep in comes like on Saturday or Sunday morning, and that means 7 a.m. And this morning, 5:40, dutifully, my eyes opened, and Kelly was also lying there awake too, and we enjoyed just, an hour of just snuggling with each other. Just being in each other's presence, just enfolded within each other's warmth. And as I lay there this morning, I was reminded that this is truly where we live in our existence. It really is. And there are all sorts of mind things that will go on to convince you that that is not the truth of your existence. That you are indeed held, cared for, warmed, looked after, snuggled, enfolded in the arms of the Creator, enfolded in the arms of that creative essence, swimming in that sea of consciousness. This is the truth of our being. It really, really is. And we're going to have a little bit of a primer this morning. I was going to do a relaxation and visualization meditation, but I think, and I had just kind of done this right off the top of my head this morning. And I will always do that. I follow the vibrational senses of my being. My thoughts are always secondary to that. Always looked at in relation to the vibration that's going on. I can tell you honestly, there are far more than 5 senses. There are far more than 6 senses. There's closer to 20 senses that a human being possesses within this physical realm. And slowly over time, you will become more and more aware of these. There's a few of the what religion used to call the gifts of spirit, or some similar iteration of that. The yoga masters called them siddhis, as well as the ancient gurus. And these are not to be focused on. These are not special powers. These do not make you any more unique than you are already, a one of a kind, never to be seen before, never to be seen again. We all have these capabilities. These are capabilities that are inherent within our being, inherent within our journey here. And we use many of these senses unconsciously. Everything from the little vibration inside you that says the person you're talking to is not safe. Feelings. It can come in your dreams. It can come in your waking moments. Just upwellings letting you know about what is going on around you. And oftentimes, because we are so much in our heads, right, and we believe that we are in our heads, one of the first things that you can concentrate on is letting go of the idea that you are actually sitting there behind your eyes. That's why we call the eyes the king of the senses. because it tends to draw the most of our attention. We believe we are sitting here looking out into the world. We don't understand that actually we are the all, focusing our conscious awareness onto the apparent manifestation of one physical being. So much so that we actually believe ourselves to be this one physical being. Good morning, Jennifer. Nice to see you this morning. So as I was saying, we're not actually going to do the hypnotic session this morning. I want to focus on bringing some light to where we are at in our current state and delineating your personal truth. Understanding personal truth. Understanding the awesome responsibility. We are having a hardy day. Maybe Kelly's having a hardy day. I really don't know what a hardy day would be, to be honest with you. Perhaps you could clarify what a hardy day is. Apparently Jennifer knows, because she says me too, but I don't have a darn clue. Whenever I think Hardy, I'm old, right? So whenever I think Hardy, it's like Hardy Boys right away. Hardy Boy mystery books. Wasn't even on TV. It was the Hardy Boy mystery books. And whenever I see Hardy, that's the first thing that comes up. Yeah, a great day. Now that I can go with. A great day. In our travels around, the one thing that people pick up, and I hear this said to me time and time again, you have got such a wonderful attitude towards life. Every time I see you, there's a smile on your face, there's laughter in your eyes, there's laughter in your voice. And when people say, "How are you today?" my response is always the same. It's another day in heaven. It really is. And we never left that place. We're still there. This is heaven. All of it. All of it. The Garden of Eden is our planet. To us. Every race in this universe has a Garden of Eden. Their home. The place where they grew. The place where they expanded. The place where they learned to walk with the divinity within themselves. There was no creator that kicked us out of that kingdom. Don't buy into the still small views that religion holds. And when I say religion, of course, I'm talking more of our Western religions, the ones who tend to scrabble and whine about everything. And, before I go much further, I really have to bring this up. Here in Canada, in our school systems, we have started safe clubs for people who are gay, transgender, are not sure of their gender identity yet. And this is receiving a monumental backlash from who else? Christians. Just recently, I believe she's actually a pastor or an assistant pastor at a church, had an old friend of Kelly's, although, we don't really hear from this person anymore since she's not in the fold. And they were going on about how this coalition of over 200 pastors on the West Coast forming this big group, that what they were going after was their own rights, that somehow their rights were being trampled on. And I got a little fed up, I have to admit. I do get fed up. I really do. I get a little frustrated. I have nearly 3,300 years of totally conscious memories of being here. And in that time, not a lot has changed, and yet everything has changed. The bottom line is this: we always have the right to impress upon and give our current state to our children as an example, but not as the be-all, end-all. What faith would it be if you are raised to the exclusion of everything else? What sort of faith does that represent? What sort of beingness is it when your vision is locked down and kept narrow by the vision of your parents, and the vision of their parents, and the vision of their parents before them? You know, this is what it was meant in the Bible when it says the sins of the father are visited upon the sons, even unto the 7th generation, I believe, is the actual wording. Or maybe it's the 10th. I can't remember whether it's the 7th or the 10th. Could even be the 6th. Bottom line, it's a really long time. And the reason it's a long time is it has nothing to do with sin. Although it does, but not sin in the way that Christians would delineate it. Sin in the Greek word and its original meaning, that we're simply straying from our path. Each of us is here as a representation, a microcosmic version of the entirety, the macrocosm, the whole. The universe itself reflects our existence. Stars are born out of gaseous clouds, clouds of dust, particles. We ourselves are composed of that same material. Nebula begins to collapse upon itself. The stars are born. The leftover material debris begins to form the planets, begins to rotate and spin. So it is with us. So it is with our existence here. We begin our lives rotating around our own sun, not the sun in the sky, our mother, the womb from which we appear. And in that womb, we go through all of these transitions, all of these metamorphoses, just as the birth of a star does. In our vast universe, we have black holes. We can liken these black holes to our death. You know, no one's ever been able to go through a black hole. The black hole leads to somewhere. But the intense gravity of the black hole prevents us from seeing beyond the event horizon, beyond the point where light can no longer escape. Light itself is the communicator, the messenger. Every photon of light alive, filled with information. You know, I read a beautiful article in a science journal earlier this morning, and unfortunately the technical jargon, I'm not even going to bother bringing it up here, because I said to Kelly this morning, I said, I'm going to have to work on this one, because the technical jargon is simply beyond most people, because they don't have the history in quantum physics that I do, okay? And that isn't a judgment anyway. It's just that there's no point in talking about various quantum states. What is important, though, is to discuss Schrodinger's cat again. Now, if you haven't heard about Schrodinger's cat was a mind experiment that Schrodinger came up with as a way to kind of argue with Niels Bohr and his theory. And in Schrodinger's theory, Essentially, you have a cat in a box, and there is a vial of acid or something else in the box. And it is designed so that if a single photon or a single particle passes through the vial would crack open and the cat would be dead. We call this a superposition state, where the cat is both alive and dead prior to us opening the box. What is it that determines whether the cat is alive or dead? It is our awareness of it. But it goes further than that. What is it that allows us the awareness of whether the cat is alive or dead? It is indeed light itself. Light is the messenger. Light is that which is always collapsing down the world of quantum possibilities into the world of quantum probabilities, and then into the world of quantum reality. What we would call our current state of existence. In truth, what this really means is through light, all of creation is constantly watching itself, constantly looking. It is true, so very true, as one of my favorite groups, favorite bands, Enigma, would say, the eyes of truth are always watching you. This isn't like Santa Claus, making a list and checking it twice. This isn't a God in heaven judging you, some man on a throne. This is that entire sea of consciousness, always observing itself, always watching itself, always interacting with itself, of which we are a magnificent part of. We are that sea of consciousness. We are manifested in that sea of consciousness. We are surrounded by that sea of consciousness. We are created by it, and we will dissolve back into it. And yet, nothing changes. At that quantum level, at that initial quantum superposition state, nothing changes. It is just the impaction of our awareness on it. Many of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow include looking at the yugas and the current cycle that we're in, which is, of course, the Kali Yuga, and where we are going from now. Now, there's a lot of argument as to which particular yuga we're in and when it's going to change. But to me, the evidence is pretty clear. Currently, we are in a state of disrepair. We have allowed ourselves to be subsumed into the physical realm so completely. We pit human against human. We destroy our environment. We destroy these precious vessels that we travel around on this planet. Take heart. We are near the end. The shift is well underway, and we are going to talk about that extensively tomorrow. For this morning, I would like to engage with you in a short period of meditative mantra, simply Om this morning. And the reason we're having this little discussion first is I really want you to take to heart as we meditate on Om and as we do the mantra, what Om really does for us. And Om is simply an amazing mantra. It is literally opening the door. It is an affirmation of our multi-level being, our multifaceted self, in connection with that higher self. Seeking first, making your priority lining yourself up with cosmic truth, with cosmic reality, with the truth of your being is essential. We are going through a period of time that, on one hand, I hope I am alive to see it in this current incarnation, and on the other, I do not. There's a period of great upheaval coming. This upheaval will be balanced by people like you and me. All of those out there who choose the conscious path of light, the conscious path of compassion, of oneness, of dropping our concepts of separation, dropping our fears, dropping our tendencies to judge and to blame, and allowing ourselves to shine forth as a light, a lighthouse, pointing the way. In reality, your choices every day boil down to one of two. They really do. And I want you to really think about this today. Are you lighting a path? Or are you blowing out lights along the path? We tend to do both from time to time, don't we? Sometimes in our best moments, we find that we are a shining light for the whole. In other moments, we find that we not only try to extinguish lights along our own path, but we find ourselves extinguishing other people's lights, making it more difficult for them to see their way. In reality, every day we take one of these two dynamics, just as the light and dark side of the yin and yang. And yet, even within that, there is always the promise, always the realization that the light can never, ever exist without a little darkness, and that the darkness will never, ever exist without a little light. So with that, let us engage in a short period of simply Om chanting. This is not meant to be a solemn thing. You know, I think about this often when I think about meditation, and I think about the practices that I engage in my life. They are joyous practices. They really are. They are not a wishful thinking or a wish for the experience. They are a joyful realization that the experience is always there, always occurring, always available, just as that divine is to you at any given moment within your existence. It is only our personal illusions that separate us from the divine that we are, from the divine that literally pours us out into this physical illusion. So today, when we meditate on Om, I would ask that you allow a sense of joy, a sense of connectivity, a sense that you are not so much chanting Om as singing it back to the Creator, receiving it and reflecting it. You know, I have said to Kelly many times, and you know, for years now, she's struggled with this, but she's finally beginning to catch on in this last year. I've always told her, I am the mirror. That is my purpose here after all this time. I am the mirror. You too are the mirror. We are all mirrors. Every plant, every conscious being, every speck of dust, every photon, every mote of relative existence serves as a mirror, reflecting that universal sea of consciousness back unto itself. Self-awareness, awareness of the one, awareness of the mirrored whole that we are. Allow that to sink deep into your being as we enjoy some waves this morning and simply chant Om. So for this morning, allow yourself to take a comfortable position. It is more important that your spine is in its natural alignment. Don't allow yourself to become stiff like a board. You can imagine yourself suspended by that divine thread that is always there, supporting you, energizing you, filling you with that divine light. I don't think any of us will need to see my face, so I will remove it. And we will begin. This morning, on our 20th day, we take a moment to return in joyous recognition of the divinity within and without. The sea of consciousness that we are all part of. Every drop valuable. Every drop unique in its own way. And yet every drop inseparable from that sea of divine love and light. We swim in this ocean of love. We live our lives in this ocean of love. Allow a sense of gratitude to begin to pervade your being. Defocus your gaze, or simply close your eyes. right where you sit, right now in the here and now. Here in this precious moment. Allow the mantra to carry you from deep within and explode out into cosmic consciousness. Returning yourself to that divine seed, the awareness growing within, a joyful feeling of gratitude and recognition. You are this divine sound. Every aspect of your being, from your breath to your heartbeat, reflects this divine sound. When we vocalize Aum, we are recognizing, joyfully recognizing, that divine vibration of life itself. It is the vibration of the cosmos, the ground state of our mother planet. It is the vibration and rhythm of our breath, of our heart. Allow the vibrations to grow within your being. A resonant return from the cosmos, recognizing the divinity that you have recognized within yourself. Recognizing itself through you for the first time again. As with the planets, we orbit each other in an endless cycle of attraction and repulsion. And yet, always, always are we together, bound in an infinite orbit, a never-ending circle. We travel around the light of that cosmic awareness, the light of that divine sea of consciousness, represented in our early conscious states by our sun, the giver of warmth, of light, of life. As with the planets, we choose our orbits. We choose to distance ourselves from that light, or we may choose to allow ourselves to be engulfed by that light. With every repetition of the mantra, together we are saying, I am the light. I am the light that I see shining without. The light shining without begins from within the very core of my being. Just as every body in the universe sings its own song, we too choose what we sing out into creation. This is the music of our existence. Allow your music to become in tune with the all. Slowly stripping itself of aberrant vibrations, purifying itself. Growing in strength and in wisdom, growing in awareness. The mantra becomes more sure still, a powerful vibration carrying love across time and space to each and every being in all of this wondrous creation. Allow yourself to open. Sing this cosmic song of joy and gratitude. This is the sound of our existence. This is the sound of our awareness of our own divinity. Carry this sound with you today. Allow it to fill your being. Allow it to pour from your heart into the heavens. Allow your conscious awareness to hold this vibration in your heart today. See it in every tree, every flower, every bush, every creature, every human, every encounter. Feel the waves of life. The sigh of infinite love. Gently, slowly, open your eyes. And again, as always happens with me, the vibrations become so powerful they threaten to literally tear my physical being apart, and it causes a huge upwelling within me. Luckily, it leaks out my eyes. I wish for you this morning to take this joyous recognition, to allow your mantras to become not a wish, not an attempt to get to a state, but the joyous expression of the realization that you're already home. It's too much for me sometimes, to be honest. My physical being simply cannot take the full brunt of that vibration and me remain present here. I would have to vanish in that puff of light. And I really try and avoid that because it causes a lot of confusion when I'm out in public. And leaves Kelly trying to explain things, which isn't really fair either. My love to you this morning, my joy, let it become your joy. This is a wondrous adventure. And we are all a magnificent, critical part of that experience. Namaste to you all this morning. So much looking forward to this evening's last hypnotic induction meditation. And on that note, we are moving this evening's meditation to 9 p.m. sharp. And I will do an update. It was set for 8. This evening's will be moved to 9 p.m. We're going to have a nice long induction again tonight to finish off our week of hypnotic relaxations. And then, excuse me, we are going to return to mantras for the last 10 days. But there will be a difference. We are no longer using these mantras in an attempt to achieve a state. We will be using these mantras as an expression of the state that we are in, whether or not our consciousness may be aware of it. Have a glorious Saturday. Again, our love and namaste.